Jimmy Zhong was a young and brilliant computer whiz who had a passion for blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. He was also a master hacker who pulled off one of the biggest and most audacious thefts in the history of the internet. He stole more than 50,000 Bitcoin from the Silk Road, a notorious online platform that sold drugs, weapons, and other illicit goods and services. At the time, the stolen Bitcoin was worth about $30 million. Today, it would be worth over $3 billion. But Zhong's secret life as a crypto thief was not as glamorous as it sounds. He lived a lonely and paranoid existence, constantly fearing that he would be caught by the authorities or betrayed by his associates. He also made a series of mistakes that eventually led to his downfall. He lost most of his stolen Bitcoin in a series of bad trades, hacks, and scams. He also left a trail of digital clues that allowed investigators to track him down and seize his remaining Bitcoin. This is the story of how Jimmy Zhong stole $3 billion from the Silk Road and how he lost it all. The story begins in 2012, when Zhong was a 21-year-old college student at the University of Georgia. He was fascinated by the emerging world of cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, which was a decentralized and anonymous form of digital money that could be used to buy and sell anything online without intermediaries or regulations. Zhong was also intrigued by the Silk Road, which was the largest and most popular marketplace for Bitcoin users, where they could buy and sell anything from drugs and guns to fake IDs and hacking tools. Zhong wanted to get rich by exploiting the vulnerabilities of the Silk Road and its users. He devised a plan to hack the platform and steal the Bitcoin that was stored in its escrow system, which was supposed to protect the buyers and sellers from fraud. Zhong used his computer skills and knowledge of the Bitcoin protocol to create a malicious software program, or malware, that could infiltrate the Silk Road's servers and access its Bitcoin wallets. He also recruited a team of accomplices who helped him execute his plan and launder the stolen Bitcoin. Zhong's plan was simple but effective. He and his team would create fake accounts on the Silk Road and use them to buy and sell various items, using Bitcoin as the payment method. They would then use the malware to intercept the Bitcoin transactions and redirect them to their own wallets before the escrow system could release them to the intended recipients. They would also use the malware to erase any traces of their activity from the Silk Road's records, making it look like the transactions never happened. They would then transfer the stolen Bitcoin to various exchanges and mixers, which would obscure their origin and destination and make them harder to trace. Zhong and his team carried out their scheme for 2 years, from 2012 to 2014. They managed to steal 51,680 Bitcoin, which amounted to about 5% of the Silk Road's total revenue. They also managed to evade detection from the Silk Road's operators, who were unaware of the breach, and from the law enforcement agencies who were investigating the Silk Road for its illegal activities. But Zhong's luck ran out in 2014 when the FBI shut down the Silk Road and arrested its founder, Ross Ulbricht, who went by the online alias of Dread Pirate Roberts, or DPR. The FBI also seized about 144,000 Bitcoin from the Silk Road servers, which was worth about $100 million at the time. The FBI also discovered that there was another hacker who had stolen a large amount of Bitcoin from the Silk Road and who had used the online alias of Individual X. The FBI suspected that Individual X was Zhong, but they had no concrete evidence to prove it. Zhong was terrified by the FBI's raid on the Silk Road, and he decided to lay low and stop his hacking activities. He also decided to cash out some of his stolen Bitcoin and use the money to fund his other ventures. Zhong was an aspiring entrepreneur who had co-founded a blockchain platform called IOS, which aimed to solve the scalability issues of existing networks. Zhong also enjoyed a lavish lifestyle, spending his money on luxury cars, exotic trips, and extravagant parties. But Zhong's fortune soon turned into misfortune. He lost most of his stolen Bitcoin in a series of unfortunate events, such as bad trades, hacks, and scams. He also made a critical mistake that exposed his identity and location to the investigators. In 2019, Zhong reported a burglary at his home in Athens, Georgia, where he claimed that someone had stolen hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Bitcoin from his computer. Zhong hired a private investigator to look into the case, but he also attracted the attention of the IRSCI, which was in charge of tracking down individual X. The IRSCI used a blockchain analytics firm called Chainalysis, which specialized in tracing the flow of cryptocurrency transactions. Chainalysis identified a suspicious transaction that linked Zhong's Bitcoin wallet to the Silk Road's Bitcoin wallet and confirmed that Zhong was indeed individual X. The IRSCI then obtained a search warrant for Zhong's home and raided it in November 2021. They seized about 50,676 Bitcoin from Zhong's computer, which was worth over $3.36 billion at the time. They also arrested Zhong and charged him with 1 count of wire fraud. Zhong cooperated with the authorities and agreed to forfeit all of his Bitcoin and plead guilty to the charge. He also revealed the details of his hacking scheme and the names of his accomplices. Zhong faced up to 20 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000. He also faced the wrath of the Silk Road's users who had lost their money and their trust in the platform. Jimmy Zhong's tale is not just an intriguing drama. It is a cautionary tale with deep-seated implications for the crypto industry and its stakeholders. It shows the dark side of the crypto world, where hackers and criminals can exploit the vulnerabilities of the technology and the users. It also shows the challenges of the crypto regulation, where authorities and investigators have to deal with the anonymity and complexity of the transactions. It also shows the risks of the crypto investment, where investors have to deal with the volatility and uncertainty of the market. Jimmy Zhong's tale is also a human story, where a young and talented man succumbed to his greed and ambition and lost everything he had. It shows the loneliness and paranoia of a crypto thief who lived in fear and isolation. It also shows the folly and hubris of a crypto millionaire who wasted his money and his potential. It also shows the remorse and regret of a crypto convict who faced the consequences of his actions. Jimmy Zhong's tale is a story that spans a decade and involves millions of dollars and thousands of people. It is a story that is still unfolding and that will affect the future of the crypto world. It is a story that is both fascinating and complex, and that invites us to wonder, to learn, and to imagine. It is a story that is worth telling and worth listening to.